Hello, everyone. This is Caren Glasser, and welcome to this episode of The Passion Point. This is the show where we follow passionistas from around the world who are following their passion, making a living, doing what they love. And I'm generally happy to have our guest on today, Ben Gioia. He and I have been friends now for several months, and we've been trying to get this interview online for I can't tell you how long. It's actually quite embarrassing, but I am so pleased and delighted that we finally have him on today. He is one of the foremost authorities on conscious marketing. We're going to talk about that, Ben. What does that even mean, conscious marketing? Thought leadership and influence design in the country today. He's a speaker, a coach, and president of marketingwithaheart.com, love that name, and the marketing board chair for Conscious Capitalism Bay Area. Ben's #1 best-selling book, Marketing with a Heart, offers the inspiration, insight, and tools for you to be more profitable while creating more impact through principle-based, purpose-driven business strategies. We're just delighted to have you with us today, Ben, so come on in and say hello to everyone.
Thank you, Caren. It's such a delight to be here and to have the opportunity to speak with you yet again and to speak with, or share with all of your viewers.
Well, we're delighted to have you. You have such an interesting story, and I love the idea of conscious marketing, and I'm going to come back to that in just a second. But let's first talk about the word passion, because after all, this show is called The Passion Point. So Webster's dictionary says that passion is an intense driving or overmastering feeling or conviction. What does Ben say?
Ben says he likes that definition very, very much. I appreciate clear communication and accuracy, so that's definitely brilliant. When I think of passion, I would say I would start with those kind of words that you just shared, and I would add to that passion for me is the thing that connects my actions to purpose. Like that, I think of passion as my bridge. So sometimes passion, can be glamorous, exciting, heart-stopping, life-changing, and sometimes passion can just be the functional thing that, speaking for me at least, that takes me from point A to point B to point C. Because maybe it's exciting, maybe it's not so exciting, but I know that it's serving the journey and the results that are coming down the road.
I love that definition. I've actually never heard anyone describe it as connecting your actions to your purpose. It's a wonderful way to describe it, and I'm sure that our viewers are going to be taking notes when they listen to you. So let's talk about you. Where did you start? How did you get to where you are today? Did you wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a conscious marketer? I mean, how did you get here?
Yeah, it's so amazing the journeys we take. There was a big dose of serendipity. Of course, I think with anybody who's on a passion-based path or a purpose-driven path, if you want to call it that as well. But this is not serendipity that, the blessings that come out of, the sky. I mean, it's often the blessings that come after you get your butt kicked, repeatedly. maybe
over and over and over again, right?
Yeah. And I use the word butt kicked or the phrase butt kicked kind of jokingly, not disparagingly, to kind of disarm it a little bit, because I think maybe what I'm trying to get at, and again I want to be clear with the words, is it's that the butt kicking is really the polishing of our stone. It's the thing that's taking off the edges, that's getting us out of the way of ourselves, that's getting us to think outside of the box, to reach a little bit further, to hold a little bit more faith, especially in the darkness. So serendipity, a lot of action. I've really come to understand the idea of 2 steps forward, 1 step back as the path. And I don't say that defeatedly at all. It's just like, okay, every time you achieve, the universe is going to go, okay, how badly do you want this? And do this now. Here's the curveball.
I totally understand what you're saying. I mean, sometimes we think, okay, we've made it. We've crossed that precipice. We're there, and then 2 steps back. I mean, it's like, come on, really? So what is marketing with a heart? I mean, that's kind of the umbrella of everything here. How did marketing with a heart come about?
Yeah, thank you. So I spent a bunch of years doing magazine production back in New York, back in a former life. Came to California and started working with nonprofits, and was seeing from, I guess, the traditional corporate side of things that I wasn't so crazy about that model of business. And that's a big umbrella statement. I get that, but for what most of us think as corporate, not so much fun, not so good to the earth or people, et cetera, that kind of thing. So made the transition to nonprofits and said, okay, this is great. Here's this opportunity to serve people in a really intentional, dedicated, passionate way. And wow, for most of the organizations that I'm seeing, there's not a lot of leverage, so not a lot of ability to really make things happen, even though the intention is there. And very often, at least in my experience and people I've spoken to, a lot of infighting in nonprofits, among staff, among board members. I'm not really sure why. It still fascinates me that, hey, we're all on the same page. We're all going for the same goals here. And why are we, treating each other not so well? So I was kind of disillusioned with the corporate thing, disillusioned with the nonprofit thing, but still loved business. Like I had the passion for business, I had the passion for writing and communication, and what I eventually discovered to be marketing, which I never would have thought a million years ago. And the serendipity part was the husband of a former boss of mine, taking his business online. He still is an author, speaker, coach, consultant, etc. And he said, hey, I'd like to take my business online. Do you want to help me out? And that was the first step into moving out of the office, so to speak, taking a business online, first as a consultant, and then discovering or realizing, if you will, over a period of time, this idea that that marketing, I mean, I'm going to say this, and this is so obvious, but it goes a little deeper, that marketing is so foundational to everything that we do, whether we're communicating with customers, clients, stakeholders, people on our board, vendor, everybody, and everybody, like
well,
communication, marketing.
And in personal interactions as well. I mean, when people say I don't do sales, well, yeah, you do. Every time that you make, you get your kid to go to bed on time, you've made a sale, and you've asked somebody out, you've made a sale. Would you agree? Everyone's in sales.
100%. I was going to use the example of asking somebody out as well. You're making a sale, and just that so much of sales, if you will, or I'm going to use a bigger term of influence and add ethical to the mix. Ethical influence, really comes from getting people to know you, like you, trust you, and see you as an authority or expert, depending kind of what your industry is. So I kind of looked at all of those things together, and I said, wow, I love business, I love writing, I love, coaching and communicating. And wow, look at the impact that thought leaders have when they market their stuff well, because they start from a place of service, they give value right off the bat without a penny being exchanged, and then keep giving value, and then open up an opportunity for some relationship where that person and a customer or client can go deeper and both achieve goals that are mutually beneficial.
So walk us through how, as an example, how you would work with a client or a company. How would you work with them to be more conscious in their marketing?
Yeah. So I think one of the first things that I like to do, whether it's with a company or with an individual, is really help them get clear, if they're not already clear, on their passion, how that translates to a vision for their business and their life, and then how does that vision turn into actions, like incremental actions that can reach some tangible outcome, some set of goals that have some metrics. So it's not just, oh, when we're doing great. No, it's, what does doing great mean? Is it a number of clients? Is it a certain level of exposure, et cetera? So again, connecting the dots from passion to vision to action, first of all, to make sure everybody's clear on what they're doing and why they're doing it. And then to ask them, okay, if this thing here is your product or service, and it's important and it will change people's lives, how would you talk your grandmother into trying this out?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Just as a little thought exercise right at the beginning. Like, would you try to manipulate your grandmother? Would you, lay on like the fear and the scarcity and like all of the things that, like, would you press her buttons in a manipulative way, or would you educate her and influence her and make her understand that, hey, this is something that can really help you, and by the way, try it for 30 days, no problem, no questions asked. You can always give it back, so try it, be comfortable with it, make your choice from there.
So do you believe in the adage, give first?
I do. I definitely do. From kind of two perspectives, if you will. One is what I had mentioned before, as a tool, if you will, or an avenue to cultivate and develop the knowing, liking, trusting, and authority. So giving value, giving content, helping people to get to know you, understanding the people that you're reaching out to. And then the second part is just, literally the opportunity to serve through giving. I always intend for my content that, hey, if someone only sees this, and this is the only interaction that they ever have with me / my business, that it has the possibility to impact their life on some kind of level. Like, if I've done that, I know I've done well. And then ideally I'm doing the other parts well, as far as knowing who they are and how to continue that conversation and then bring them into, a deeper, more involved relationship, if it's right for them and right for me.
So how would you say social media fits in with conscious marketing, especially the ethical part and what we see in social media today? What do you advise your clients and the people that you work with in terms of social media?
Yeah. Thank you. So social media is amazing to help support you, me, all of us as thought leaders, because ultimately, whether we take that moniker on or not, we are thought leaders. We need to be thought leaders. We need to show that we, have our chops and know the deal and really inspire the confidence and the trust and all those kinds of things. So, excuse me. So social media is great because, here are multiple channels that you can distribute your content. So one thing I recommend to my clients is, hey, instead of trying to write 20 pieces of content for 20 different media outlets, write a blog post, make it into an email, put it on LinkedIn, put it on Facebook, size it appropriately, put it on Google Plus, tweet it, slice and dice it if you have 3 points, articulate those 3 points separately, basically take your thing and, grow it, recycle it and repurpose it.
Funny you say. I mean, I believe the same thing. That's what I do. It's about working smarter, not harder, right? I mean, you've got this wonderful content. There's no reason why you can't slice and dice it and put it in different formats. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I totally agree with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, and so that's kind of the tactical side of that. Let's say the strategic part. So anybody can do that, and everybody who's trying to succeed should do that. It's a good thing. The conscious part, the ethical part is, are you speaking the truth? Are you articulating outcomes and results accurately? Did you really survey 4 out of 5 dentists? Whatever the case may be, right? That just, are you speaking the truth? I'm going to say there is the influence part of things as well, because you do want people to take action if that's the right thing for them. So sometimes it's a matter of getting in front of them in multiple places, because there's the old sales psychology of it takes 7 to 12 touches
Right.
before somebody will take a next step with you. So, you have to keep showing up, because we are in, did you ever read the book To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink?
I know of the book. It's on my reading list. It's on my reading list.
When the time is right, I'd like to recommend it. It's really good. But he talks about how, oh gosh, I can't remember the term exactly, but he said in the past, in a sales relationship, like if you needed a vacuum, you would go to the store and there would be the vacuum salesperson who was the expert, and you were not the expert. So you had to defer to the expert, to make your choice. But now, for almost anything that we invest in, we can walk in knowing as much, if not more, than potentially the person who's providing the product or service to us.
Thank you, Google. Thank you, Google.
Exactly. Yeah. So if our potential clients and customers have that ability to be so well informed, to do, such diligent comparison shopping, if you will, we need to be out there regularly. We need to be, expressing our genius, our expertise, whatever, appropriate word that is, and to really do it honestly and ethically and authentically, because more and more people, are making choices based on that kind of stuff. Like, how do I feel about this person?
Right.
Do I want to enter into a coaching relationship with this man or this woman? Like, how do I feel about them from here? Like, I get that on paper, they shine, but how do I feel about them? Do I feel good when I talk to them? Do I feel like I need to go take a shower after I talk to them?
We've all met those people, haven't we? And what we're doing right now is exactly that. We are doing an interview, doing a video, so that when this is put out as content and people are looking for that information about conscious marketing or ethical marketing, hopefully this is going to show up, and not only the words, but they're going to see you, and they're going to hear your voice, and they're going to hear the tonality and your physicality, not just the words, because the conversation model, as we all know, or maybe we don't all know, but as you and I know, is not just a bunch of written words, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. And I'd just like to add one more thing to what you just shared. This kind of opportunity I absolutely relish, because, someone like you, especially Caren, like, you ask questions that make me think a little bit differently. Like my response about passion and connecting the dots, that never came out of my mouth until you asked me the question. And I went, oh, that's what it is.
And it was a really good answer too. I really liked it.
Thank you. Yeah, and that helps me articulate some other things. Like, I can kind of feel the dots connecting in my head of, there are other aspects of my business that, or at least how I'm communicating about my business, that I can refer to this idea of connecting the dots, and it makes sense in several contexts for what and how I want to communicate. So thanks.
What do you tell someone that comes to you and says, Ben, help me. I don't even know what my passion is, or I've lost my passion, or how do I find it? I'm not employed anymore. I've been laid off, or I'm an entrepreneur, which is what a lot of people say when they've been laid off and they don't want to say that they're unemployed. So how do you help people find their passion? I mean, is there something you could just tell us right now, that if someone's listening right now, they can take that first step?
Sure. God, there's so many. But I think one that cuts pretty well across the board. And when I say across the board, I mean, because people have different personality types, as we know. So sometimes how do you reconnect to your passion, X, Y, or Z, different approaches will work for different people. But like I said, the one that I like to really cut across the board with is, if there was nothing restricting you, right? No money issues, no time issues, no family issues, no nothing issues. What would you want to do? How would you want to spend your time? And that might not be the complete answer for what they can turn into a business, right? Because we still have to make sure that it connects with the marketplace in some way, shape, or form.
Right. Well, exactly. I mean, I like to knit. Well, not really, but I like to knit. can you make a living doing that? But maybe there's something in terms of creativeness and creating something that can be sold at a later date that could possibly, right, be.
Exactly. Yeah, and then another one I like to ask is, what did you love to do as a kid?
That's a good one. I like that. I'm taking notes, by the way. I love to take notes. I learned from all of my interviews that I do, and these are really, really good responses to the questions. I love quotes. And if anyone goes to any of my social media platforms, they see, I'm throwing them out all the time. And it's really more believe it or not, it's really more for me than it is for anyone else. It's how I feel in the morning. I curate, I go and look and see what's out there, and I find something that speaks to me for the day, and I put it out there. And today's quote comes from Charles M. Schwab. And he says, a person can succeed at almost anything for which they have unlimited enthusiasm. I mean, that kind of says it all to me, and that if you have that enthusiasm, you're going to succeed. What does that mean to you? And do you have a favorite quote?
Yeah, so I love that quote. Thank you. Yeah, I think that I think it's very accurate, first of all. And I want to dig in slightly and just say that, unlimited enthusiasm by itself is not going to do it, but unlimited enthusiasm would give a person, I'm going to say me, two things. One is the stick-to-itiveness of, of managing the 2 steps forward, 1 step back aspect of this journey. And the other part is because when there's enthusiasm, I'm going to call it passion. And there is, clarity in the vision relating to that passion. I think that helps you see where the opportunities are. As long as you're not stuck on, some made up story that it has to be in such and such a way, like success has to look exactly like this.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't mean don't have the vision, don't have the awesome mental experience of, what it all looks like, when you're absolutely kicking butt. But don't hold it like that. You know what I mean? Hold it like that.
Correct.
So, you can receive more, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So what's a favorite quote of yours?
Favorite quote. It's so funny that as soon as you said quotes before, I started going through quotes in my head. I'm going to say 2, actually, if that's okay.
That's okay.
The first one, which I've shared with you once before, that I've seen attributed to Harv Eker, is every master was once a disaster. And I often think of, it's not, disaster master, it's more like an ascending spiral. And it's like master, disaster, master, disaster, master, disaster, as you're
failing your way to success.
Yeah, exactly. And then the second quote, which I'm not sure who it's attributed to, is whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
I like that one as well. And I'm sure if you said the name or we both remembered at the same time, it's somebody pretty well known who said this, and I can't remember who it is. I love that one because it's intention. It all has to do with intention. And I'm glad you said that because I wanted to kind of circle back to the word intention. How do you feel about that? Do you think if we just put those intentions out there that we can manifest anything and everything, sort of like Napoleon Hill, think and grow rich? Or do you feel just like we talked about having unlimited enthusiasm, you just can't just have the unlimited enthusiasm. There has to also be some focus behind it. So is that the same thing with intention?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I have understood and experienced and studied as well, that it is intention plus action, right? So the movie The Secret was missing a really big thing about the action part, right?
How many people have said to you, I read the book The Secret, I don't even understand, I'm just supposed to, think it, and that doesn't make any sense to me. Well, you're right. They missed a huge piece, and shame on them, actually. Shame on them, because I think they did a service to a lot of people.
I do too. Yeah, I mean, it's such a mixed bag because they had such a far reach. So, I'm glad that people were opened to, some possibility and some new view of how, their lives can be. But then, hey, we didn't give you the whole story. So, here you are running into the wall, wondering why it's not working for you.
Well, one of my favorite writers he's no longer with us, Wayne Dyer. And in fact, I'm thinking maybe he wrote that. Maybe that is his quote. He was all about intention. And, he was actually the first writer that I read that talked in depth about intention, that it truly explained to me, I thought, in language that I understood, the concept behind intention. You just don't think it. I mean, it's really your whole body, your whole soul, and it becomes who you are. I kind of look at it like this. If you don't know what you want or what you're looking for, how are you going to know when it shows up?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, so this is kind of an interesting question I like to ask all my guests. If you could spread passion dust on anyone in the world and achieve anything you wanted to achieve, who would you spread the passion dust on, and what would you hope to achieve?
Great question. Can I don't know if there are parameters on this.
There are no parameters.
There are no parameters. Great. Okay. I'd like to sprinkle dust on everyone. Damn it. With the intention, hope, desire that they even just have the first glimpse of the fact, and I'm saying fact, the fact that, no matter what they think about the operations of the universe, and who's in charge or not, that they are in charge first and foremost, through their thoughts, through their words, and through their actions. So
Love
if they can
that.
just start waking up to that. Wow.
It's life altering, is it not? It's life changing.
It really is.
It really is. Ben, you are just a wealth of information. I really love the answers that you've been giving, and I know that our viewers are going to want to know how to get in touch with you and how to reach you and talk with you and see maybe if they should be working with you. So where shall we send them?
Thank you. Please visit marketingwithaheart.com, and you can check me out on the site. There's ways to get in touch. There's amazing resources that you can view and listen to and download as well. I want to give a very small warning. I just had the experience for the first time in my internet career of my site being hacked.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That is awful. Are you okay now? Are you up, or you're not sure?
I am up, yes. But there's still a teeny little bit of kind of administrative stuff that I'm doing with Google. So if people are looking on Chrome, they might still see the warning, site has malware on it. It doesn't have malware, it's fine. So either, go down below and click through, or just check out my site on a different browser. It is safe, I guarantee it.
And it's amazing. I mean, this is an example of people who have nothing better to do with their time but mess around with hardworking individuals. My site has been hacked multiple times. I've actually had one of my sites hacked with a warning that says, ha, 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 we hacked your site. But go on over to this page on Facebook and we'll show you how we can sell it back to you. I mean, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's chutzpah is what it is.
I have a few choicer words than chutzpah.
Yeah.
That I'm going to say on the air about that.
Yeah, it's so for those of you who are listening, and when you go, and I encourage you, go check out marketingwithaheart.com. Check out Ben Gioia. That's how you pronounce his name, by the way, even though it doesn't look that way. It's Gioia. And go check him out and tell him that we sent you. And also, if you weren't anywhere that you could take notes, all of the information is directly below this show right here. There will be a hyperlink. Just click on it and you can go visit Ben there. Any last comments that you'd like to add?
Well, first of all, thank you. This is just great. I never know what's going to happen when I talk to you, and it's always good stuff. I learn a lot about myself as well. Yeah, and just I encourage any one of your viewers, the fact that they're paying attention to Caren, your content and this kind of presentation speaks volumes to the I would say the character and integrity of your viewers. So, may they recognize that, may you all recognize that, and then go do good stuff with it and have a lot of fun in the process.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love my viewers. I love my network. I love the people that I communicate each and every day with. I appreciate you so much. And I know that you have a choice as to how to spend your time. And I want to thank you, my viewers, for taking the time to spend it with Ben and I today. I am forever grateful for that. And as always, I hope that you have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of The Passion Point. Goodbye, everyone.